How gorgeous are smoky lip liners as shadows? Look at that. Hi everyone, I'm so excited for today's video. We're doing a deep dive on my fair tone friendly smoky lip liners. These are lip lining shades that are grayed out to create exquisite contour shades for the perfect shadow-like base to your lip combo. You guys, this is not a video about grayish lip liners because these are already gray. A warmer color will need gray to contour like this, but smoky liners are neutral to warm colors that are smoked out with gray to create that dimension of color plus shadow on the lips. I'm probably going to do another video on grayish liners. Also, I didn't include vibrant shades as it's outside of my preference and range. I like colors similar to these, and my natural lips are too purple and pale gray for vibrant color anyway. It's important to understand that colors are entirely relative to our individual tones. This lip liner may not look the same way applied on you because colors are just wild like that. Today's video is more for shade comparisons and smoky liners specific to my complexion. The only way to curate your own color palette would be to understand your preferences and understand how colors will translate on your skin tone. I have 5 categories here. The first is smoked rose, and then the smoked pinks, smoked mauves, smoked browns, and smoked beiges. So let's dive into the first category, rose lip liners. This is not exactly pink and not red either, like warmer pinks with maybe more depth. The first shade is the smoked rose, then the midtone roses, and then the warm roses. A typical rose is relatively warm on me. It's quite tricky because warmth and gray are not synonymous. They don't usually go together, and that's why I can only find one smoked rose shade. It's ColourPop in 951, and it's perfectly balanced to translate a bit warm but also tone down on my fair skin. Because I have more mauve lips, I need a bit of gray, and this provides the right amount, allowing me to use this as a lip contour without finishing with another shadow shade. However, I believe this is limited edition. This is Chanel in 158 Rose Naturel, and I just wanted to show how a rose lip liner looks on me. The camera translates the colors a bit differently too with the lighting. This is more vibrant in person. I'm using Ashton from ColourPop to gray this out, and this is what I mean. If you have a smoky shade for your tones, you won't need a gray lip liner for dimension. If you search the shade applied by Sofia Richie, it's a perfect smoky liner on her. However, my tones turn this fairly warm pink, so it's a bit too unnatural as a sculpting shade. Just shows how one shade is not exactly the same on a different person, right? Now the next category are smoked beiges. It's a little sister to brown lip liners, albeit much softer and leans more neutral. Beiges turn easily peach on my mauve lips, so I have to be quite careful with these. The first shade I have is MAC in the shade Cool Spice. I love how these are in a traditional pencil formula. Some MAC liners have been unattractively warm on me, however this one's more neutral, especially when applied generously. This is the original shade of Spice in the 90s. Next up is O2 from Victoria Beckham Beauty. I adore this packaging. I think it's very sultry and luxurious. It's described as a neutral beige brown for light to medium skin tones. And if you feel like you have a peachier beige tone, try building it up. There are times when you have to be generous with application to see the smoked out effect. And I think that's the case with Cool Spice. I didn't build it up enough here in my swatch, so it looks warm next to O2. Now we have the Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheat Lip Liner in Iconic Nude, described simply as a nude shade. This shade was a revelation to me. I have gone by online recommendations and swatches in my early 20s. I got shades like MAC Strip Down because it just looked like the perfect contour for fair skin online, and lo and behold, it's an actual peach shade on me. I was so confused. I definitely stayed away from beige for a while there. Then I tried the shade and it's just so smoked out. This is the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in the shade Anywhere Caffeine. It's described as a warm caramel nude, so naturally I thought it's more true brown, which is warm tones, and it does slightly have it. It's a tiny bit peachy, but I can build it up to the point of being neutral enough. Now, the reason why I love smoky liners is compared to grayish ones, there's actually more color and life to your lip combo, so definitely more for everyday versus grayish when I want to look super snatched. This is from Hourglass in the shade Expose 1. It's described as a warm beige. I first tried the shade Tempt in this line because it looks toasted on the online promo photos. Lesson learned, if lippies easily turn warm on your lips and you pick up a shade described as a midtone pink beige, is not going to look neutral on you, babes. I love the formula though, so thankfully they have a more muted option in this color. And lastly, About Face in Cradled, which is the last smoky beige color. Just an FYI, would be careful with beige lip liners if you primarily need a shadow shade and everything just turns peachy on you. Beige tones are quite hard to navigate because even though it's softer, it's still a form of brown which is naturally warm. I highly recommend swatching in-store if you can, or checking swatches next to your existing lip liner so you know how it would perform. This is Sunny's Face in Nude and it's a tad too peachy as a contour shade, so I'll add some gray tint with the same gray earlier. I'm using Ashton for the rest of the video and this just made it look so lovely. Now these are the swatches of the beige lip liners I have. I have the smoky ones I just discussed. These are the 6 on the left. If you compare with the other beiges, these definitely have more depth and the slightest hint of gray to prevent them turning too peachy, versus the one on the right with more colorful hues. So smoke beige, the midtone browns, and then the warm soft beiges. Now, you guys, I did make a mistake. I thought midtone browns are too warm. It actually looks grayed out upon swatching. So let me just show these two quickly. This is e.l.f. in Mauve, which is described as warm rose mauve, but it's warmer and more brown than mauve tones. This also has more depth than rose. This is Chanel in 162 Nude Brun, and this is such a beautiful brown. It's so sultry, and I love this in transitional weather. Now, I'm going to show you the swatches so you can see the two smoky midtone browns. They're too warm to be mauves, too pink for browns, too deep to be beiges, and too purple for rose. So yes, definitely smoky midtone browns for sure. Anyways, moving on, these are the smoky brown lip liners, starting with About Face and After Party. Browns are definitely deeper than beige tones, and browns in nature are warm colors, so if you don't have tones to counteract the shade, it may look unnatural to use. This is very relative to your skin tone. I would say having warm tones on your lips and skin will certainly help translate the shade into a more shadowy color. This is Give Beauty and Do Whatever. Such a beautiful formula and I love this color. However, I hate the applicator. It dulls the sharp lines and pigment. Shame, because I really do love cool leaning browns. Next is the Fenty RUBBABANDZ. This is a trace out waterproof pencil formula, which feels very creamy and then sets down to a dry budge proof finish. If you reapply this type of pencil too many times, it's going to create a tug because it will be dry like cement. So be careful over applying. That's the price that unfortunately comes with waterproof formula. This one is quite similar to RUBBABANDZ. It's a very creamy waterproof finish, so again, be careful with over application. This is the shade On It from Maybelline. I love that it's quite comparable to prestige formulations at a fraction of the price, and this has a relatively strong online presence. Everyone has been loving this release. These are also made in Germany, which is known to make the best lip liner formulas. And we have this gorgeous lip liner from Rimmel London. I recently tried this and I'm so obsessed with Cappuccino, as is everyone in social media. It's such a beautiful tone of brown. It has a long-lasting finish but not waterproof, so it's definitely more breathable. I saw online recommendations a while back, however, I still had PTSD from strip down, so I thought it was going to be warm on me, but it's not. It's the smokiest brown I have. I'm going to swatch Mac and Oak, which is a true brown. This looks moderately warm on natural light, so I'll add a bit of gray, and this is how true browns look like once they're smoked out on fair skin. Rightmost is warm brown, and then true brown, and then the smoky browns on the left. It's quite ironic that it's called smoky pink when it's more mauve on me. This is finally my favorite category, the smoky mauves. This is Smoky Pink by Makeup by Mario, and this is my breakthrough product. I found out that mauves were my natural lip contours because I revenge bought this at a Sephora sale when all the other shades were sold out. Next is Colourpop in the shade Beeper, and this is actually sad because I have loved this for years before Smoky Pink, but it's described as a muted rose. So I never thought mauves were the perfect shade for me. I always thought it was more mid-tone pinks. Maybelline in Big Lift used to be my favorite because it's affordable. I love the formula. I love the smoky shade. However, it dried out unlike the shade on it. It's gone very crumbly and the solid core basically came loose. So I don't know what happened since the other lifter liner is fine. This might have been a one-time thing and I already ordered a backup, so hopefully it's not an ongoing issue. This is now my current fave. It's the About Face lip liner in the shade Midnight Seduction. This is so beautiful in person and fairly affordable, noting that it's a prestige product. I'm honestly so impressed with Halsey. I tried her foundation and powder recently. Wow, she is coming out with bangers. The lip liner is very long lasting and creamy, but unlike the Fenty and Maybelline one, this doesn't become rock hard once you reapply multiple times after it sets. And if you want a bit deeper, you can try Urban Decay in Liar. Well, deeper for me and my skin tone at least. The formula is very long lasting, but not as intensely setting as RUBBABANDZ. And you know, deeper mauves usually have a bit of warmth, but I don't see that here. It's an excellent contour shade. And there you have it, my favorite smoky mauve lip liners. Let me swatch a mid-tone mauve for reference. This is Glacé in Bit. More pink tones are coming through the shade, but I'm going to grade this out with Ashton to show you how a mauve will gray out. How stunning are mauves, you guys. Moving on to the arm swatches, the smoky mauves are on the leftmost. This is what I just discussed. And then mid-tone mauves, warm mauves, and then a true purple. Finally, the last category is smoky pinks. This is Colourpop in Oh Snap. And I'm very fair in skin tone with a slight warmer olive undertone, but my lips have this pale gray and purple tones to it. So it's actually very light on my lips. I need something a bit deeper. I always actually wondered why warm tones look great on my eyes and cheeks but not on my lips. But anyways, know your tones. If you have very light lips, this might turn out extra shadow-like on your tone. This, for me though, are very soft contours. Just like this one, this is You from Makeup by Mario. Now, I was arm swatching the pinks and I realized I made another mistake. So sorry about that. This is the Makeup Forever Wherever Walnut Lip Liner, and this is another smoky pink if you like something a bit more pigmented than the last two I mentioned, also warmer. And just to show you, this is Tom Ford in Close Up, which is a truer pink, quite bright compared to the other smoky ones, but once you gray it out, it looks gorgeous. That was finally everything. The swatches were brutal on my lips, but I hope it helped somehow. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!